Well, hey there, neighbor. How are you? It's me, Angie. So nice to have you drop by today. Now, I was at my front door waiting for you to come in and see if you were driving up, but man, I sat there for a few minutes and I was burning up. It is so hot out there. I was out there at 7:30 the other day and it was still 88 or 89 degrees. And I know some of you have been talking about it being up in the hundreds and wishing you had 88-degree weather. But still, it's hot everywhere, it seems like. Now, you won't hear me complain about the cold because I like cold weather. And some people can tolerate the heat. I can't. I can't tolerate the heat much anymore. But anyway, I made lemonade, have sweet tea, cranberry juice. I have pineapple upside down cake. Let's see, what else do I have that we can snack on? Oh, I have some popcorn we can pop, whatever. But if you want to bring something, bring it. Bring your drink, bring your food. Oh, be sure to bring it up to share with everybody. Oh, I know you will. But as far as the drink, I have enough here that we have something to drink. So as we prepare to get ready for our next little conversation, which I'm always so happy to have you come by and us talk because I love our little talks. They're so much fun. You all just put down in the comments every time I have one of our little neighborhood chit chats. You just put down in the comments how what you thought about it, your story, how you felt about what I said, if you could relate, if you can't relate. And that makes me so excited because I know that you are becoming involved with my channel. Which, like I've always said, I want to be inclusive and not exclusive. I've always been that way. I never wanted to be in these little cliques. Like, you'll see cliques everywhere. And I know it's hard to believe, but you'll even see cliques in churches. I know. Is that not surprising? But you do. I try to stay out of cliques. I don't really want to be in them. And that's what got me in so much, and I say trouble, but it really wasn't a big deal. At the bank when I worked there, all the women wanted to, see which, it was a hen pecking party, and they wanted to see which one was going to get to the, top first and be able to tell everybody else what to do. Well, I wouldn't get involved in any of that. They would come back to my office because I was in the back of the bank. I wasn't in the front where all the secretaries were and the bookkeeping. I was in the back. And it was just me and my boss. And I had a male boss, which we called him one of the girls anyway because he was really, I don't know, he was funny, kind. He could really relate to women real well. But they would always come back to our office and just vent and just tell us everything about what was going on at the front of the bank. And believe me, there was things going on. And I would just sit there and listen and just look at him and say, oh, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. And I really was. But they were back there telling myself and the boss that I had at the time their side because they wanted us to choose their side. And I'm not into choosing sides. And I hope you're not like that either. But when I wouldn't choose a side, then I became the outcast. Which I didn't really mind because, I really didn't want to be up in that group. I didn't want to be a part of those people because I knew if they could do each other like that, my goodness, if I got in with them, what would they do to me? You just can't trust people like that. So I've never, even when I went to high school, I never wanted to be in the little clique where all the popular kids were. Now, everybody at the school knew me, and they knew who I was, and, I don't really think I had an enemy. If I did, I don't really remember. Maybe a couple, because I was real headstrong back then. But I never had a desire to be in what they call the popular group, because these girls were just mean. I mean, they could be mean to each other and everybody else. You know, the mean girls. Well, I never had a desire to be that part in that part of the group. I always liked to go off and be with people that there was no drama. I did not really like drama. I don't like it now. You know, I could hang around the guys and be happier hanging around males than females, because, you know, when males have a problem with each other, you know what they do? They just fight it out in the parking lot. It's over. And next day, they're talking to each other. Not with women. Oh, no. Women hold on to things. I mean, they hold on. Months, years, they'll hold on to it. Won't let it go. And then the other person that's involved in whatever happened, they just go on with their life and never even get a second thought. And you've stayed home, hadn't got sleep, worried about it, trying to get that person back, trying to turn everybody else against that person. And the one that you had the problem with has just went on with their life and not even worried about it. So be careful what you spend your time doing, because you don't want to spend your time wrapped up in a group of people that constantly do this and talk bad about each other and say nasty things. Because let me tell you, if they're talking to you about somebody else, they're talking about you or me to somebody else. I'm telling you. You may say, oh no, Angie, that's not true. I know they're not talking about me. Yes, they are. That was a hard lesson for me to learn. I couldn't believe that either, because I was a very faithful friend, and I still am. If I am your friend and we do become friends, and you tell me not to tell somebody when you share something with me, I'm not going to tell it. I mean, it was so bad that when I had my first surgery and had to be put to sleep, I got James over to the side and said, I need to talk to you. And he's like, okay. I said, look, make sure that you're the only one with me when I wake up in the room. I don't want anybody else to be in the room. And he's like, okay. I said, because I know so many things that people's told me that I promised that I would never tell. And I'm afraid I'm just going to start babbling it out, you know, being on drugs and coming out of the anesthesia that they put me to sleep with. And of course, he's just laughing or whatever. And I said, no, there have been things that people have told me not to tell. And I don't want to start running my mouth and not even realize that I'm doing it. You know, like they would give me like a truth serum that, you know, that you never know what they give you when they put you to sleep, if you're allergic to it or not. And I could have just been and telling every secret I knew about every person that used to tell me, now, I'm going to share something with you, but please don't tell anybody. I would have people at the bank come back there to my office and tell me stuff. When I was a manager at the library, I would have people come in my office that were just patrons of the library. You know, they didn't even work there. And they would come in and just start, can I tell you something? I mean, I thought I had this sign on me that said, please tell me, I want to know. Because they just would come tell me the craziest stories about their life. And I would just sit there and, oh, okay. All right. And I would, no, I'm not going to tell anybody. And I was so afraid that I was going to actually say something when I woke up out of the operation. Now, was I thinking about dying during the operation or about how painful it was going to be when I got through being operated on? No, I was more worried about revealing somebody's information that they didn't want revealed. But then you got some people, as soon as you tell them something, the phone lines start going. They pick the phone up, or their cell phone, or whatever, their computer, and they start just, you know, sharing the news. And then by the time it gets to the end of the line and back to you, because it always gets back to you, the story has just grown so huge, and it's nothing like what really happened. I never liked that game. Telephone, where somebody will say a line or a sentence, and then you say it to the next person, and on, then it comes back around to you, and boy, it does not sound anything like it did when you actually said it into the ear of the first person. So I'm here to tell you, be careful who you tell things to. Who you share things with. Because it's always been kind of hard for me to trust people. But when I really do end up trusting you, and I lose that trust in you, there's no getting it back. I've went through that so many times in my life. I'd have a friend that I really trusted. I would share something with them, and then it would get back to me that person had talked about it. And it would be something that I really didn't want somebody to know. And then I thought to myself, it's not that I didn't like that person anymore. It's just that I knew I couldn't trust them anymore. Now, I still have 2 or 3 friends right now that they know things about me that nobody will ever, ever, ever know. And they will not tell anybody. I know they won't. And the same with me. You tell me something, you can even ask James. Because I would never even tell him things that would go on at the bank, because they would tell you when you got hired on there. Now, you cannot even discuss anything with your husband about what goes on at the bank. Well, if you tell me that, then I'm not going to discuss with James about how much money this person has in their account, how many overdrafts they have, how much credit that they're in debt with, and, how much credit they don't have or whatever. Well, then I find out years later that all the women at the bank discuss everything about the bank with their husband. Well, I never discussed it with James. Well, he never asked. But we live in a small town where I knew everything that went on with a lot of people, and I couldn't discuss it. And I was fine with that. And people would try to come up to me and get information. And I would just have to say, well, I can't talk about it. That's a privacy thing. And I can't, even if I do know it, I can't discuss it with you. And of course, some of them would get so upset. Oh, I thought we were friends. Well, if you thought we were friends, you would respect the fact that I can't discuss it with you. Why is it so important that you know? Sometimes it's better not to know things, because once you know it, you can't unknow it. Now, just grasp that. I mean, there's some things that I wish I had not known. Like, I could really live with the fact that I wish that I hadn't found out, because I can't unknow it now. It's like seeing something. When you see something, you can't unsee it. So be careful who you want to hear things from. Because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And sometimes we need to close this and open these. And, because a lot of times people just want you to listen. And unless they ask you for advice, don't give it. Now, if they come up to you and say, look, I need your help. I need you to answer a question for me. I need your advice. Then that opens the door. But if they don't ask, most of the time they just want you to listen without judgment. Now, you may have some people that's come to you before, even friends, and you would say, I would never do that. Okay, you may not ever do it, but they did. Does that make them a bad person? Now, it depends on what they were telling you they did. And especially don't ever say, oh, my child would never do that. No. Don't ever say that. Because that's going to come up and bite you every time. But here's the thing. Wake up in the morning, and I don't know how other people live, and I may live in a little sheltered area, and it's like James used to say that I lived in Disneyland, but I start my mornings off with Oh, goodness. Thank you, Lord. I woke up to another day. Thank you that I get to see my children again. And that reminds me, we're getting our baby girl, our granddaughter, this Thursday, which is tomorrow. And we're going to keep her until Monday. So you may not see me for the next couple of days, but I'll try because I miss you all when I don't see you. Because she's going to come visit us. I'm so excited. But try to wake up with the attitude of, I want to bring joy to somebody, peace. I want to be kind to somebody. Bring happiness. Do something. Pay it forward. Have you ever watched that movie, Pay It Forward? This little boy starts doing things for people, and then the whole town gets involved, and they start paying it forward to somebody else. You know, that would be a great challenge if you could just start one person pay it forward and the next person do it. Just like I love it when I've driven up at one of the drive-thrus where we're eating, and I told the lady at the drive-thru, I said, look, I want to pay for the person's order behind me. And I would pay for their order. And then a few hours later or the next day, this would be on my lunch hour at work, the lady would say, you will not believe how long that went on of people paying for the car behind them because you started saying, I want to pay for that person's order behind me. She said it just kept going for hours. You never know what is going to happen when you stand up and say, I'm not going to be ugly to anybody today. I'm not going to gossip. I'm not going to spread gossip. I'm going to do something nice. Now, for some people, that's hard because they've never experienced nice. But for some people, it's real easy. And that's what causes people to be taken advantage of because other people know that they're that way and they just want to take advantage. But you got to have a balance. You know, you got to know when somebody's using you and when they're not. And with years, as many years as I've lived, you kind of learn from years of experience. You know, wisdom. And I've seen every game that's ever been played. I've probably seen it. Either in my family or out in the working world or through different venue, you know, just different things in my life, meeting different people. I've seen just about every game. And when I say game, I'm talking about manipulation, how people use other people, how they try to play with your mind and get you to do things. So I'm telling you, just get up and change your perception. Look in the mirror while you're brushing your hair and brushing your teeth and say, how am I going to see myself today? You know, don't look at the bad, because if you could see me without makeup, I have a lot of bad I could be looking at. But I try to look at the good. And that's what we need to do. And then say, I'm going to go outside, open my door and see what's outside. Look at the blue sky. Try to look at positive things. Not wake up with, oh man, this is the worst day ever. I'm not looking forward to it. This is a bummer. Now, some days you have to be that way because some days are bummers. But don't let it be the norm. You know? Don't let that be more bum days than good days of waking up and being excited to be alive. Because, you know, everybody don't have that opportunity. Because when a doctor told me that I could live 5 to 7 years if they didn't get my autoimmune disease in remission, that woke me up. Because I wasn't even 50 yet. And I thought 5 years, I won't even be 55. Or 7 years, I won't even be 57. And my grandmother lived to be 83. And I just knew I was going to live to be her age. I just knew I was going to be walking around, you know. But I'm not. But I have to take what I've been given. And you do too. But share goodness. I don't mean give stuff to people. I don't mean give them money, material things. I'm saying just give them your time, your presence, your kindness. Reach out to them, acknowledge them. A lot of people don't want to be shunned because, who wants to be shunned? I don't. I don't want to be ignored. Do you want to be ignored? But anyway, neighbor, give it some thought. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But until we meet again, like, share, subscribe, ring that doorbell so you'll know the next time I'm coming to you with another neighborhood chat. And to make it a chat, you've got to comment and let me know what you think. And with that being said, neighbor, bye.